Okay, this may be the easiest way to plug AI into your accounting firm. AI, it is the best thing to ever happen to your meetings. Every day we meet with clients, we share big brain ideas, connect over common interests. But then after meetings, oftentimes, we can kind of fail to execute. I can tell you in my accounting firm of 40 people, these 8 AI prompts I'm about to show you would have saved us so much time. I'm actually pretty convinced that the firms that aren't yet using AI with their meetings probably wasting hours a week and ticking off some clients in the process. So today, 3 AI prompts to save you time, 3 prompts to find you better clients, 2 prompts to harvest new valuable information from meetings, and last, how to actually make ChatGPT run automatically so you don't even have to hop in and manually do any of this. Okay, that's gonna be good. If you're new here, welcome in. My name's Jason. I last ran a 40-person accounting firm. Now I help accountants around the world run cooler firms. But this is a run-of-the-mill, everyday meeting transcript. I'm gonna pop that bad boy into ChatGPT. Give me a short summary of what happened in this meeting. Many meeting recorders now do this for you by default. They'll generate a summary of your meeting, like this. The team at Jason Co. gathered to plan Craig's 40th birthday party, a task complicated by Craig's eccentric interests. Eventually, they settled on an augmented reality scavenger hunt featuring virtual cryptids, like Bigfoot, which was deemed creative, yet HR compliant. Tasks were delegated, budgets capped at $500, and the pigeon that slammed into the meeting room window served as an unexpected metaphor for the meeting itself. Okay, so we got the squad together to plan Craig's birthday party. This is an internal meeting in this case. Let's use AI to break out for everyone that participated in the meeting what the action items are, the follow-up to-dos. So new ChatGPT conversation, I'll attach the transcript, and I'm gonna put this prompt in here. You're an executive assistant following up on a meeting. Using the attached meeting transcript, exhaustively review what was discussed for any outstanding to-do items myself and my team need to tackle. Group all suspected to-dos by who should do them, and order all possible to-dos in decreasing order of likelihood. This is something I often do in my prompts, is tell it to just give me a whole bunch of things, but order it in the likelihood of things that I'll care about. Because what I don't want is it really making decisions about whether to exclude fringe things. I want it to give me everything and then I can decide for myself, right? Now, what model to use? As I'm recording this, basically only 2 models you should be using in ChatGPT. 4.0 for creative things, O3 for the technical things you really want it to get right in a detailed way. So on a prompt like this, I want it to think a little harder and not miss anything. So I'm actually gonna use the O3 model, and I'll cut that one loose. Now, I should say, a lot of ChatGPT plans out there you can buy. The only one firms should be buying is the team plan. Comes with all the security you need. It's actually more secure than many of the commonplace accounting apps in our space. Okay, we got a response. Below is a likelihood ranked list of every action item that emerged from the meeting. Brenda, from most likely to least likely, send the calendar invite for the follow-up check-in next Tuesday. Reserve the main break room for the party date and arrange pre-post cleaning. We got some stuff for Kevin here. Develop the AR scavenger hunt app. Wow. Mark needs to lock in corporate cuisine, confirm the cake order meets allergen and food safety rules, and liaise with facilities on the bird strike. Now, many AI meeting assistants, they will give you these follow-up action items and summaries automatically. But summaries, honestly for me, not that helpful. Usually if I'm coming back to a meeting transcript, it's to ask it a very specific question or with some more specific goal in mind than just knowing what the meeting was about, which is where customizability, building our own prompts to pull things out of meetings, is where that gets really important. Check this out, prompt number 2. By the way, these are prompts from a collection of 30 prompts that I recently dropped on social media. It kind of went wild because there's some really cool things here we're gonna get into. That resource I'll actually put down in the video description. Okay, prompt 2. Another new conversation. We're gonna use O3 again. Attach the transcript. We could also have created a project and attached this transcript to the project, but here's the prompt. You're an executive assistant following up on a meeting. Using the attached meeting transcript, extract any key dates that came up during the meeting that should be included on my calendar. Include important client delivery milestones, deadlines, and recommended dates to follow up on any open items. Create a table of events I should add to my calendar in decreasing order of likelihood that I would want to add them. Again, have it make an exhaustive list in order of how likely you will use those things so you can decide for yourself. Again, we're using the O3 model because I want it to get detailed here. We'll kick that one off. Would be really nice if it could run automatically. I'm actually gonna show you how to do that the end of this video. Word of the day is foreshadowing. Okay, you may have noticed I put in like a little command to drop that whole prompt there, right? What I'm using is called a text expander, where you type in like a short string of characters and it unfurls a big old pile of text. Now there's a bunch of different text expanders out there, but many of them have team plans, so you can share these text snippets with your team members. And it is such a good AI hack to get your team up to speed on AI. Let's say you got a prompt that you love using for drafting like a financial statement or tax return delivery email. You could craft that prompt, then with text expanders, share that prompt to your whole team. They just put in the same command that you do. It pulls that AI prompt in, and even any future updates you make to that prompt, they get pushed out to your team. So the next time they use that same command, it's up to date. And remember that whole list of 30 meeting prompts? You can build that into your text expander, share that stuff with your team. Your whole team just got an AI upgrade, okay? All right, we're done. Below is a ready to paste calendar hit list. June 10th, initial check-in on the birthday party. June 13th, we got a deadline. A few other things on the 13th. We got Craig's actual birthday, which must not have been called out in the meeting because there isn't a date here. I think it's still dependent on being able to get the meeting room. Now, where this is really nice is if I'm in a client meeting and the client's like, oh yeah, we gotta do this or that next week. Kind of those little details where you're like, in the moment, you're like, oh, if I remembered to send that thing like when they have that kid in March or when their daughter goes off to school in the fall. If you remember to just do those little things and send off that 10-second message, wouldn't you just be a hero? That's what I love this prompt for, is harvesting those little details from a meeting. But third prompt I wanna show you right here on this transcript. It is a research prompt. You're an executive assistant following up on a meeting. Using the attached meeting transcript, exhaustively research the topics from the transcript, searching the web for additional reading, listening, watching to do a deeper dive on any of the subjects. Provide a numbered list of additional items I may be interested in decreasing order of likelihood. Definitely use the O3 model for this. You want to do some big brain thinking. We'll cut it loose. This is one that almost rises to the level of something that I kind of want to run automatically on every single meeting. In fact, if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna show you how to put any of these prompts on autopilot so that we don't even have to come into ChatGPT to run them. Foreshadowing much? It's good. Okay, here's a deep dive into all things Craig's birthday party. An example of how someone else pulled off an in-office AR scavenger hunt. Another AR scavenger hunt example of a virtual reality Bigfoot thing. Look at this. These are all links to articles. Why is this a thing? Virtual reality and Bigfoot, the future of cryptid hunting. A podcast for context about Bigfoot. Insights into large-scale cheese sculpting. So there's planning to have a cheese sculpture at the birthday party. A roundup of helpful resources to build on the things that were discussed in the meeting. And oftentimes we'll bring up a concept with a client, and it'd be really helpful if we send them an email after that that's like, hey, we talked about X, Y, and Z. If you want, here's a deep dive on each of those things that we talked about. You will actually find that this does a really good job of pulling pretty good technical sources on the things that you discuss. So this is almost like a meeting upgrade. Like it makes those meetings more valuable, but the next three things we're gonna talk about tie into the most important thing in your firm. That is the quality of your client list. So let me show you 3 AI prompts that are gonna land you better clients. Look at this. Got a new meeting transcript here. Enough of your dumb jokes about birthdays and bird strikes, Jason. Here's a real meeting. Give me a short summary of this client meeting. I would've used 4.0 for here, but I forgot to change it. Also for summaries, like level of detail is just not a huge deal, so 4.0 would have been fine. Quick takeaways from the 3.5-hour session at the Book Nook Bindery. Gloria's core repairs are steady. These are book repairs, and she's landing lucrative library preservation projects. Data cleanup, you'll create class project tags in QuickBooks and reconcile bank activities starting with September 30, okay. We're gonna write off a custom workbench, talked about safe harbor, estimated taxes, fine. A little more of a normal client meeting, right? But if you're like most accountants, you know that you should probably be like, I don't know, writing blog posts or posting on social media or something like that so that people even know you exist. But if you're like me, staring at a blank page, it is not easy to write. I'm a millennial. The last thing in the world that I want is silence to, But these prompts, they're gonna make it easier than ever for you to put out like content, like just write stuff that's helpful for folks. So we pulled in the actual meeting transcript here. I'm gonna pull in my LinkedIn prompt. You're an expert marketer helping me develop high impact, actionable, no nonsense content for prospective small business clients. Using the attached meeting transcript, generate a numbered list of 10 LinkedIn posts I could write about the advice I provided in this meeting. Focus on non-obvious lessons that could be framed up with a good hook. Just give me the concept and hook, don't write the post. I'm gonna switch this to 4.0 because 4.0 is generally better at creative things, whereas 0.3 is it's a reasoning model, so it thinks about it. It's a more technical model. The vibes of 4.0 will usually be a little bit better. It's also way faster. Here are 10 high impact and hook-driven LinkedIn post concepts. Your profit margins are lying to you until you do this. That's not the hook, that's actually a pretty solid hook. Most small businesses think they know their most profitable service until they track profit by project. Why miscellaneous is the most dangerous word in your chart of accounts. If the IRS ever audits your business, guess which category they'll love most? These are pretty solid. So the idea is these prompts can help you get started, because if a client asked you a question like this, we can speak about this stuff at length, right? Like we do it all day, like we know how to riff on this. But if you belly up to LinkedIn, you're like, oh, I don't have anything to say. The idea is to get you into the frame of mind where you are in front of your client. And how do we translate that to LinkedIn? Give you 2 more examples here. We can do the exact same thing for generating tweet ideas, really any social media platform or any writing style. Give it a prompt to harvest all the valuable advice that we're giving in these meetings. So this prompt, generate a numbered list of 10 concise tweet ideas from helpful things I said in this meeting. Here we go. You don't need perfect time tracking, just consistent rough estimates. Precision isn't the goal, clarity is. Miscellaneous is where insights go to die. Most small business owners think about taxes once a year. The smart ones use taxes to shape decisions all year. That's actually not bad. Last marketing example I'll give you, because I actually think the best type of content or marketing you should do is the one that comes most naturally to you. If you enjoy writing, great, go do LinkedIn. If you enjoy conversations, do an interview podcast. If you enjoy sitting in a room all alone and staring at a camera by yourself, run a YouTube channel or a podcast. We're having a good time. Create a podcast outline that reorganizes the advice I gave in this meeting into a logical progression. Imagine if you had a whole bunch of podcast outlines related to recent conversations you've had with clients, where you're giving them advice, like the advice you're very comfortable giving because you've probably given it 100 times. Build that into an outline. I can record a quick podcast. Now I'm putting this stuff on blast to way more people than I would have otherwise. Here we go. Based on the transcript, here's an outline for a 30-minute episode. Pricing and profitability for high-skill work. Why pricing is hard for artisans and specialists. The rough time tracking to get directional clarity. Track specialized material costs on a per-project basis. Again, this is taking the things that you said and structuring them. This is actually a really novel thing. If you actually take a real transcript of you giving advice, when you see this outline, you're like,
oh yeah, no, that actually kind of is what I would say.
Which is the goal, to get you to a natural place of being able to present something when you're putting together content. Now, two prompts that actually unlock something from our meeting transcripts that we've never been able to take advantage of before. This is really exciting. Check this out. Same meeting transcript. PCRM. Extract a short overview of any personal information shared by the client that we could track in our CRM to better deliver a delightful client experience. You know how we always talk about that? Wouldn't it be great if we had a CRM where we knew everything about the client that they ever told us? Like stuff about their kids, about their interests. You know, stuff that would actually make them think you care. Check this out. Here's a short overview of personal details shared by the client. Gloria. Preferred beverage, Earl Grey tea, black. Dude. Little holiday gift? Put that Earl Grey on blast? Lighting preferences. Uses a light therapy lamp in winter for focus and mood support. Open to mentorship roles. Knows local art school students and may be open to mentoring or training beginner level restorers. So much good stuff in here. Think about how good of a CRM you could build out of these folks' interests. Maybe even have somebody on the team, have it be their job to hey, just pop in there once a month. See if there's any connections that we can make or a gift that we could send or something like that. We always wanted this, but just for whatever reason couldn't get the team to track this stuff in a centralized way. Now harvesting this stuff is much easier. Once you got it, you can put that information to work. Okay, one more. This is probably my single favorite AI prompt right now. You ready? Using the attached meeting transcript, extract word for word a numbered list of things my client said that were complimentary or illustrate a transformation I enabled for them that could be repurposed as a testimonial. You know, those things that you need to ask for that we never remember to. What if they got harvested out of our client meetings automatically? I'm gonna show you how to do it in ChatGPT. After this, I'm gonna show you how to do it without even having to use ChatGPT. But look at this, because it actually works. It's gonna give me all the quotes that it's maybe you could use this. Number 7's not bad. This is all a lot clearer now. It's not just about paying taxes, it's about actually understanding my business. This has been incredible, Jason. I feel like I've got a much better handle on things. Seriously, you've lifted a huge weight off my shoulders. I was dreading looking at those numbers. Some of these are okay, they could probably be massaged into a testimonial, but oftentimes a client will say something in a meeting where you're oh, I wish I could have that. And when those meetings are happening across a big old team, how are we making sure that we capture them? Let me show you how to put that on autopilot. But first, a word from this video's sponsor, Makers Hub. Do you like AI stuff?
Maybe.
Heck, of course you do. Why would you still be here if you didn't? The part of the accounting industry that is most quickly being disrupted by AI is accounts payable. And Makers Hub is absolutely crushing like complex AP needs. Check this out. So what they do differently is they pull literally everything from an invoice. Like all the itemized details, sure, but also like whatever other weird crap that vendor puts on there. It'll pull that stuff and you can tell it how to use that information going forward. So it does extraction really well, like much better than OCR used to do. Can even read handwritten text. If you gotta deal with purchase orders, because PO extraction is so strong, the matching there is like on a different level. But here's like a sneaky big thing, is because it has all of that information, approvals now become easier. Because approvals go way beyond like, if it's over this dollar amount, send it to Jim instead of Patty. Approvals come down to like who the vendor is, potentially even the items on that invoice itself, who those jobs tie back to. Makers Hub is using vision models and large language models to automate more of the accounts payable process than ever before. Frankly, if you're an accounting firm, this is an opportunity to help clients with complex needs lean into AI just like this. I've actually got a few demos of how Makers Hub works on this channel that you can watch, share with a client. It's very, very cool. To learn more about Makers Hub, check out the link down in the video description. Now I said we're gonna put this prompt on autopilot, not even have to use ChatGPT. And we're gonna do this with Zapier. Now, if you've ever used Zapier before, it is kind of like the ultimate app to connect a bunch of different apps. And now among those apps is AI, is ChatGPT. We can build that stuff into automated workflows. So look at this. Basic example, we're gonna build a Zap from scratch. This is basically just a workflow that will run from beginning to end without you having to lift a finger. And every workflow has to start with a trigger. So we're gonna pick the app that will be the trigger app. I'm gonna pick Fireflies. Right now, in terms of meeting recorders, Fireflies is my favorite. It's because it will work across every virtual meeting platform, as opposed to Microsoft Teams or your Google Meet Assistant, which only works on their own platforms. Fireflies will work on Zoom, on Teams, on Google, anywhere. But also, they got a really good mobile app for capturing in-person meetings. You just put it on the table like you would a tape recorder back in the day. Actually, bonus item number 3, they even have integrations with leading voice over IP systems, so you can potentially even record calls and have transcripts of everything. Anyways, the trigger here is gonna be my Fireflies app anytime there's a new meeting transcript ready. So this workflow is gonna run automatically on every new meeting transcript. If we didn't want it to, like we could add a filter here so that it only proceeds to the subsequent steps in like certain situations, like if it's a client meeting or something like that. Here we go. This is that meeting at Gloria's. The next action here, we're actually gonna hit up ChatGPT. And in the same way that we just had a conversation in the ChatGPT interface, we can make an API call and it'll do the same thing behind the scenes. Now, this connects to your ChatGPT account. So again, we're talking about client meetings here. Only do this with the ChatGPT team plan, comes with SOC2 Type 2 security, and your prompts are never trained into the model. Similarly, Zapier here, a very secure app. We gotta remember, we are dealing with potentially sensitive information because these are client meetings. Now, we've selected the ChatGPT app. We're gonna come down to action event. We're gonna select conversation. This is basically the same thing as having a chat inside of ChatGPT. So I can go test this inside ChatGPT. Just come over here, select conversation, and then next, we will put in the prompt. So if we wanna automate that testimonial prompt, we gotta attach the transcript down here. So from the previous step, step 1, we'll scroll down to the transcript file URL. It'll attach that to the ChatGPT conversation. Hit continue, test. Let me make this a little bigger. Let me zoom out a bit, scroll down. Here we go. Here's the output text, potential testimonials. But then last step, to send that somewhere. So you could email it to yourself, but I'm actually gonna do this. I use Slack, and so does my team. I'm gonna say, send a channel message, select my Slack account. I'm gonna create a new channel for the team that's just called testimonials, because the whole point of this channel is to like harvest testimonials from things our clients said in meetings. I'll create it. I'm gonna come back to Zapier. Here we go, testimonials. And the message text should be the output from step 2, right? So I'll hit the plus button, conversation in ChatGPT. Here are all the different outputs. It gives you a whole bunch of stuff. What I want is output text right here. Hit continue, send as a test, and then come over to Slack and see if it comes through. Huzzah! And here we go, a message from Zapier. The word of mouth seems to really be working. All of our testimonial goodies right there in Slack. Okay, how cool is that? That is something that we can do with any of our meeting prompts. If you roll one example, I love that one. The notion you collect potential testimonials in a single place, and then somebody could come through and like tag the team member who may be the right person to reach out to the client and be like, hey, you said this lovely thing, do you mind if we use it as a testimonial? So many cool things we can do with this stuff, gang. Make sure you swipe my list of my 30 favorite meeting prompts. Even if you don't do the cool fancy automated version, it's really useful to use in ChatGPT. And if you're still getting started with ChatGPT or have that kind of the AI security spooky still, check out this video. It's literally everything that your firm needs to get cracking with ChatGPT in about 20 minutes, and it might be the most important tool to be using in 2025.